Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful evening. If you didn't catch the first live, that was just a couple hours ago, well, you're welcome back to the second half. Welcome to the second half if you made it for the first half, or welcome to the first half if you didn't make it for the first one. Welcome either way. Just gonna close out a couple of my tabs up here at the top before we get started. Has it gotten any colder where you guys live? It's negative 25 with the wind chill right now where we are in Ohio. That's insane. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to, before I forget, because I do that sometimes. I do have the live set on members only, but you only have to be a member for a minute in order to go into the chat. It just helps keep bots out and stuff out of the chat. So I try to put it on there, at least towards the evening. I can't do two things at once, apparently, because I was talking and I couldn't remember what I was doing. I'm going to put in the chat also, if you would like to join our channel, you can join our channel. We have room. We have room for more. So I'm going to just post that in there in case you guys would like to become channel members. Good evening, Princess Megan Elsa. Good evening, allegedly. And TF, I know. Oh, thank you. I did. I got the first one, and I'm gonna look on her Facebook and stuff. But if you send me another one, I haven't got it yet. I'll have to look. I haven't checked them. I ate some food, and then I saw that they had some extra body cam footage that just came out. Truth and Transparency had did a live on it. I think she's a newer creator. I'm not familiar with her at least I'm just becoming familiar with her, but she's very in depth. And actually, I had said on this channel before that I wanted to maybe get some sort of a whiteboard and map out some of these cases, because to me, it's easier to be more visual than to just hear somebody like kind of read things or do things like that. So I noticed her channel because she had actually had a whiteboard set up, and she did the whole house, like the layout of the house, to make it, I guess, easier for her to understand. So it was like, you know, kind of interesting. So today she did a live, she did one tonight. And so I figured we could just watch that body cam footage because it's never been seen before this evening. If you watched her channel, then you saw it. But if you didn't, then you haven't maybe seen it yet. And I want to I'm going to drop the link to her channel in the chat box below. Let me see. If I can, if I can figure it out. For some reason, my fingers aren't working tonight. Has anybody been on any lives? Has anybody been doing any good lives tonight? I haven't really seen too much, but I saw that Zav Girl was doing one. So that's Truth and Transparency's page there. And then I'm even going to go ahead and I'm going to link the video in there too. That way, if you guys want to go and watch it, it's there. I always want to try to give credit where credit is due, because definitely wasn't me. But I did see this on her page, and I was like, oh. So I wanted to show it to you guys too, because I don't know if you guys follow her or not. And so, And then also, Ashleigh Banfield comes on at 10 p.m. So if you guys want to watch that live, we can do that. And then I figured we can just chit chat in the comments. And then I know that they do have a little bit of commercial breaks, so we can talk through the commercial breaks and things like that. Yeah, I saw Zab Girl. Yeah, I think mostly some of the other ones are prepping for Christmas. You're right. I wasn't sure if people are going to be prepping or if they're going to be like unpacking, because a lot of flights are, canceled. It's hard to travel in this kind of weather. I know that, a lot of the weather in the Midwest anyway is really bad right now. I think it's bad everywhere though. Oh, sorry guys. I was trying to take off my earring and I almost lost the back to it. So if you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video if you'd like to share the video after we're done. That'd be great. I was looking at the TikTok account, and I'm going into a deep dive. Earlier we were talking about that TikTok account, the psychic Ashleigh. So it's going to be a long couple of days. I'm going to be looking into her. I don't care. I'll be eating Christmas dinner and I'll be looking on her TikTok at the same time. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. My family would be like, what are you doing? No, they wouldn't care. They'd be like, we want to see. They're just as nosy. So I did share that. Okay. And then I did just actually add a video. I posted a video up tonight. The taxi driver that drove the girls home, Maddie and Kaylee, the night of the homicides, he actually came forward and he spoke out for the first time. And so I just did a pre-recorded video on that, and it is up for members only, but I'll have it for everybody to watch tomorrow sometime. But I wanted to get it out there for the members. That way you guys have something special. And also, the woman that was charged with abducting, like kidnapping the two twins that we've been talking about all week on the channel as well, the 5-month-old boys from Columbus, Ohio, Kyer and Kaysen. They were, they're fortunately both found. They're both doing well, but she has been charged with kidnapping the twins, and she's been charged with battery of bodily waste. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if this means, I'll show you what it looks like what she is. I mean, I don't know if that means the diaper was left like dirty because she had one of the babies. Remember, she only had the first baby for a short time, like the first night. The second baby she had from the 19th until the 22nd. So if she didn't have enough diapers because maybe the mom didn't have a lot on her, because just say like she was only doing DoorDash, maybe she only grabbed a few. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe she just threw the poo at the officers. Maybe she threw some poo at the officers or something, or somebody. But that's the girl. They got her. And if you're on my Twitter, you would have already saw this too, because I posted it on there. If you're not on my Twitter, my name is at TitaniumBuilt. You should follow me on there. I have a small following. Like, you guys would be like, oh, it's so sad. I have like 7 people or something that follow me. But come on, I have to start somewhere, I was gonna see and then there he is. Like, he looks like he wants his mama. Oh, wow. Okay, we can watch this really quick. It's only 20 seconds, so we'll see what he says really quick.
I can tell that he felt comfort and joy, he felt safe, secure at that moment, in spite of the ordeal that he had been through. So I was amazed at how well he was doing for the amount of time that he was gone. And holding him was one of the best skills I've had in my career. I can tell that he felt comfort and joy.
Aww. Well, you don't look that good, Ellen. But yeah, Enan Harsh moving up on the list fast. Yeah, that Enan Harsh he's just a little different, isn't he? But yeah, I wanted to show you the guys that, because I mean, that's just exciting. I'm still living on that high. I'm gonna be living off this kid being found for a while. It's mending my broken heart with Quentin a little more, Good evening, Cheryl. Oh, hi, SRD or SRB. Why did I say that? Because I said, because Princess Megan Elsa, I was reading what she said. I didn't know I was coming back on either. I didn't plan on it, but then I got off of here. I can always find stuff to talk to you guys about, but I got off of here and I saw that Truth and Transparency put out a video. She was like, never before seen body cam footage, and it has Kaylee in it, and I wanted to show it to you guys. And then I also thought if you wanted to, we can watch I'll watch Banfield. I know a lot of people don't get her channel, like News Nation. She has a guy coming on tonight. Let me see. I put it in the description, but you know me. I just like I kind of forgot what my description said. I'm trying to think of like his exact title. So Banfield tonight is she's going to be talking with former chief of the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program at the National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime, and his name is Michael Harrigan. Yeah, he works for ViCAP, pretty much the ViCAP program. And so he's going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case. So I thought we could watch the Truth and Transparency video real quick, and then we'll watch that one, the Banfield one. So. And then I talk in the chat and stuff too, and then commercials and stuff too. But thanks for following me over on Twitter. I appreciate it. I know I need to get the Discord up. You reminded me. Let me write that down really big, because I need to have my boyfriend help me with that, because I don't know how to really use Discord. But I heard it's it's kind of like old school chat, I think. Oh, thank you, allegedly. Oh, the Buckeyes. Oh, I bet they're good. I can usually only eat like one because I can't eat all that like chocolate and peanut butter, but they're so good. If that's what you're talking about, like chocolate and peanut butter Buckeyes. Oh, yeah, you had your in-laws. Yes, you had pizza with the in-laws. Did it go good? Did it go well? So it went pretty quick, though. That's good. You're like, we're just here to eat and run. You're like, oh, look at that snow coming down. I would be. So let me see where this video starts real quick. And then her name's going to be across it because, of course, it's from her channel. But she said that it's fine that we use her video as long as we credit her. And I made sure that we did. And I put her stuff in the description, too. But she is really good. I like her channel. I mean, so far, I really like it. Oh, thank you, Princess Mega Elsa. And then I also have TikTok too. I'm like, I got to get back over on the TikTok more, but I have some videos to post over there. I just need to post them. I actually have some stuff to actually post over there for once. Because usually I'm just bad at making shorter videos right now. I guess I can make them if I could just be like this, but sometimes people want to see ya. So let's see here. I'm going to unmute it and play here. And let me share this with you guys before I forget, and then I watch it all by myself. But she has the video, it plays twice, so I'm just going to play it the one time. But so there's been 2 updates in the case today. So the private taxi driver guy, the guy that drove the girls home, Kaylee and Maddie, the night of the homicides from the grub truck, food truck vendor. He came forward today, so I did a pre-recorded and I put that out for members only, but it'll be out for everybody tomorrow. And then, so he came forward today, so that was kind of big because we've been kind of wondering who this person's been. And then this video came out. So I don't know exactly how she obtained this video. I think she either got it from, the Freedom of Information, or I'm pretty sure that's how she got it. That's how a lot of people have been getting body cam footage. And this is from, it'll say up in the corner, I want to say it's from the 16th of August, but it'll say right in the upper right-hand corner. I think the one that Plunder has, Heather, is the one of the, it's the one where someone had stole clothing and there was a shoe print left in the car of some girl. This one is a different video. This one is actual body cam footage of them walking up to the house at 1122 Moscow on King Avenue. So this is them walking up to the backside of it, and then they're going to actually there's a guy that's going to walk out with Kaylee, and they're going to talk for a minute to both of them and stuff. But yeah, I watched Plunders today too because I like her. She's so sweet. She's like the sweetest. But like, I don't know how she did a video with her in front of her fireplace, and I was so jealous because I want to do one in front of my fireplace. But y'all, I sweat so bad. I get so hot. How do people do that sitting right in front of their fireplace? I would be burning up. I would be like, you guys would be laughing the whole video. You'd be like, Tanya. So, okay, yeah. So this one here is a little different than the one that Plunder had. Plunder has the one that the officers are there for a guy, I guess he had stole like clothing or something. And I guess she had found an article, like a personal article of clothing, like her underwear shoved in her cup holder. And so that was like, you know, not, I don't know if it was right around the time of the murders, but Plunder does have that video. And this is 8/16, so 22. And I'm sorry, in the beginning of this video, they're going to talk to some guys about like drinking and the noise and stuff, like a noise complaint. And then they'll go up and then they'll end up talking to her.
Last night we didn't do it.
Sure, Elena Shepherd lives here.
Who's Elena Shepherd?
The person that was last night.
Okay. Well, one thing I will tell you is we didn't do anything last night.
No worries. Neighbors were calling in again saying
Sure. Sounds good.
That being said, the tickets get expensive. We got to come back out here, and you know the music keeps coming up, and neighbors keep calling.
Understand that. Yeah, we'll definitely turn it down. I mean, probably off, maybe like very low volume. But we'll definitely turn it down.
Yeah, you can have a party. You can have some music. Just not loud enough for people to call.
Sounds good. No worries.
Yeah, we should have. I know we were going to go talk to him before.
Yeah, maybe do a lap with your neighbors.
Yeah, we should do that next
That's a
time.
good idea.
You live here?
I'm
We both
one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both
We
two.
grab your name.
My name is Elliot, ELLIOTT, and then Lund, LUNDH. I have two middle names.
I will say during this whole like interaction though with the cops, like in general, I want to say, so I don't forget, these officers are pretty freaking cool. Like they don't like ask them for IDs. They're not there to like mess up their time or like, you know, like you can even see the guys in the back, like they're still partying and stuff. Like the officers seem pretty like laid back and cool. Like, you know, just like, hey, just turn the music down and we'll be out of your hair. So I did appreciate that about them. But I guess you kind of have to be like that if you're in a college town because you have to live with the people, you know, you have to mingle with these people. So I guess you pick your battles. But I just felt like, you know, they did pretty good.
Yeah. 874. 1856. My bad. Area code is.
Okay, I didn't notice the kid on the roof. Did anyone else notice the kid on the roof? Okay, I didn't. Yeah, like this guy back here, he's on the roof of the house, just chilling. I think he's taking a video. Oh, allegedly, I already said that today. I talked about, oh my God, I talked about Dangle today from Reno 911. My boyfriend's bought me 3 pairs of new boots since, I don't know, it's for like in like the last 3 weeks. It's kind of ridiculous, but I don't tell him to stop. Don't tell him to stop. Don't tell him I'm catching on because I think he forgets. I think he's been forgetting or something. So literally, I've been like telling him I want to do a TikTok like Officer Dangle with his cowboy boots and his short shorts and wear my boots and just like do a whole thing. I'm gonna have to do it now because I got these 3 new pairs of boots. He was afraid I was going to fall today. I was like running around in a pair. But yeah, did you see the kid SRB? Like, yeah, I watched this on Truth and Transparency's live like 3 times and I never noticed that. I never noticed it. I'm going to have to go back a little bit just so we can see him better. Where'd he come from? Okay, so he's not on. Oh, so there he is. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna just rewind it real quick.
Last night we didn't do it.
Is there a Lance Shepherd? Lives here? Who's the Lance Shepherd? The person I was born with last night. Okay.
Well, one thing I will tell you is we didn't do anything last night.
No worries. Neighbors are calling in again saying you guys
Sounds good.
I think the tickets get expensive. We gotta come back out here. The music keeps coming up. The neighbors keep calling.
I understand that. Yeah, we'll definitely turn it down. I mean, probably off, maybe like very low volume.
Yeah, you can have a party. You can have some music because it's not allowed to work anymore.
Sounds good. No worries.
Yeah, we should have. I know we were going to talk to you.
Yeah, maybe do a lap with your neighbors.
Yeah, we should do that next time.
You live here?
I'm one of them.
Okay.
My name is Elliot, ELLIOTT. And then Lund, LUNDH. I have two middle names. Yeah. 874.
I don't want to mess up these guys' game or anything, or say like they're not cool. Oh, wait, maybe this is a girl right here. Because I was gonna say there's not one girl at their party, but maybe one. I think we got one back there, but I was like, huh? Because normally the girl to guy ratio in my area, girls 50% more than boys every time.
My bad.
What's the area code on that?
Area code is 949. So it's 949-874-615. My number is very similar to my mom's. I have heard.
Happens. I think you guys are lucky. The little old lady who lived there is gone now. I think it's a rental property now.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely need to check with the neighbors.
I feel like that's.
This is our first time.
Sorry about that.
And
O-R-D.
but you guys obviously know the drill,
No initials.
right?
What's that?
You guys obviously know the drill, right?
We gotta be
Okay.
smart from now on. For sure.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
It would be. It definitely would
My
be.
phone number is 208.
There's no volume through this part, I don't think, or nothing said. No, like no audio. That's so funny. Yeah, this guy's just chilling up here though the whole time. Those cops I don't even think they acknowledge him. But yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, there it goes again.
Fair enough, guys.
Make sure that everybody stays down.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care, guys. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Good semester. And in some cases, like when we get here and that stereo's going,
Yeah.
I would also go contact them because it was non-specific.
Sure.
And if I'm warning them, I better go fucking warn them too.
And that's the bottom row house there?
Which one? Well, here? That
Yeah.
one? That one's up on, goes through that driveway. The guy's walking right there.
Oh, yeah.
That side there. Guarantee you the stairs are going to come right back on as soon as we leave.
Well, I saw that big, tall JBL on the back patio there, so I'll just go chat with them.
Okay, I'll come with you. You want to walk up or do you want to?
Yeah, we'll walk there. Perfect.
Just, it wouldn't be fair. You know, if you're warning these guys, you better warn them.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe I missed this part. Maybe actually they're going up to the house at 1122 King Avenue to tell them now to be quiet. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were like calling on each other. But yeah. Because they hear your voice allegedly and their lady swoon. You do have a nice voice. I'm getting a new microphone and it has like this knob on it. And I asked my boyfriend if I can make my voice sound like super seductive. He said with the right equipment, it could sound better. He thinks he's funny. But I'm like, really, I'm like, I need it. So he got me a new microphone because my microphone that's brand new has been messing up. So yeah, let's see where they go.
Moscow 11.
And this will also at least show you guys kind of like the route to the house and what the house looks like from around the whole area.
I'm still on the department channel. Moscow 111. We're clear of 1127 King Road. We're going to be out at 1122 Queen Road. Same problem.
And when he says Queen Road, he really means the same address as 1122 King. So it's weird how it's set up, but where the cars are parked in front of that road there, that's considered Queen. So it can either be called Queen or King. So if you hear him say Queen, it really is 1122 King.
Hey guys, can you send someone out who lives here, please?
Did you guys get any dogs from Wendy last night? Because I'm looking for one with Xander Dash.
Nope. Sorry, you can always call us later and ask in case it gets turned in here. It's our business line.
Sweet, thank you.
You bet.
Also, really quick, I don't know if she's going to say it here, like if Truth and Transparency will say it, but the guy that walks out with the girls, like so the boy that walks out first, the gentleman, he, I guess, is the same guy that opened the door the night, the body cam footage of the night of the party that they had there at the same residence. Yeah, they must go together. Yeah, that's what allegedly said, because King and Queen like meld together. Yeah, like something about the roads or something. I think that's one of them is a road and one's more of like an alley, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Or it may be where you go up and park up at your cars. Maybe that goes to one. But look right here how you have to like kind of go up there too. Like, I don't know why they went this way. Oh, because he went to the front. That's why, and they didn't come to the front. So he was going to the back.
No one's coming to the door.
You're not going to front door, no. All right, be right back. Yep, thanks, bro. Yeah, I took one look at that speaker. I said,
You get a lot of guys trying to argue private property access.
the way I've always done it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the way I did it there. Find one responsible, have everyone.
So there's the fence, or the screen is down. And it looks like there's a cinder block under the window there already. So you'll have to look. Like, I'll have to look better, but yeah, so you know how those were like here, placed here on the ground that night of the incident, like of the, I hate saying the word, but you know, because YouTube, but of the murders, because that screen was laying down. So it was already off of the window, it looks like, prior. This, because this has been videotaped. This was August 16th. And I guess this was also the day that Kaylee moved in.
Someone else hold them accountable. If I got to come back here, they're getting the ticket. Because then it's on them to nip everyone else in the bud.
Yeah, and if they don't come out, we just contact landlords.
Yeah.
Or we come back the next day or the next time you work.
Yeah.
And just note that lack of cooperation does not go a long ways with us.
Yeah.
Huh, no stairs to the back deck. Interesting.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I assume noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party once neighbors start calling.
The next day or the next time you work.
Yeah.
And just note that lack of cooperation does not go a long ways with us.
Yeah.
Huh, no stairs to the back deck.
Interesting.
Hey, whoa, yeah, no one mentioned that. So there's no stairs from the bottom deck from the top deck to the bottom. Did you guys hear that officer point that out? That's against housing code. And I know in her live Truth and Transparency, I'm like 99% sure she didn't point that out on her live. My ears are not mistaking me. So yeah, that's kind of strange. Yeah, he said that. He said there's no stairs. That's why I went back and rewound it. So
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I assume noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party once neighbors start calling in. They have an issue.
Fair.
You go to school?
Yeah.
Okay. What year?
Senior.
Senior. Okay. So I'll tell you the same thing I told them. You probably know the drill, right?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay. So usually, at least for me, I'll give you a verbal warning.
Okay.
Once I have neighbors calling in, your music's too loud, you're disturbing the peace.
Yeah.
Nothing against having parties, nothing against having people over who are overage to drink. But again, once we start disturbing the neighbors, then we've got an issue.
Yeah.
You always take it as up to 300.
Yeah, somewhere around 300, 400
It's a
bucks.
pretty expensive ticket. I don't want to give that to you. That being said, this is your place, so I'm going to hold you responsible.
They get it more
This is your
expensive
place,
the later
you're
it
also
gets.
responsible for everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna grab
We already
you.
warned them
Yeah.
too, so.
And if I do have to come back here, $300 some tickets.
Okay.
And it only gets more expensive. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely.
Actually, what's the phone number for you?
208-640-4818. Yeah.
Okay. I'd much rather you spend that $300 on beer or something fun than
Yeah,
a noise
yeah.
sticker, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. That being said, warnings, don't do it again.
Yep.
I'd hate to come back in a few hours and then have to issue that. So,
Yeah.
any questions for me?
No.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care.
All right, guys, the next video is the same thing, but it's the other.
okay, and so yeah, that was like the same video. She just plays the same one over again after that. Let me see here. I wanted to try to get this pulled up before I forget, so we can go over to Banfield after. Whenever she's comes on. kind of. So anyway, yeah, those cops have patience. Yeah, they have more patience than I do. Hey, Kaz. Why didn't people on bottom floor run into street asking for help? Found Ethan on floor upstairs in blood. They might still be killer in the house. They wasted an hour calling friends before 911. Yeah, I don't even know how they really even found everybody. There was speculation. There was a Twitter thread that was, it was on Reddit and then it was thrown on Twitter where the girls were in shock from seeing what they saw, that they weren't comprehending what they were seeing. We read it on one of my lives. It was probably a few weeks ago, but it was probably 3 weeks ago, but it really made the most sense when we read it out loud. The way that somebody, because we were wondering, how can somebody have somebody's code to get in their phone to call 911, but it not be their phone? The way that they had described it, it did make sense, where it was the girl had put in their code, and then she was trying to call 911 and she couldn't, and I think she was in shock, maybe passed out from shock or something. We need more guys in here. Allegedly said, I know, can you ask your boyfriend to come to please buy membership and join us? He should. He hasn't bought a membership, and I am surprised. I'm gonna have to put some more stuff on there and not let him see it, because I show him what I put on there. That's what I got to do. Yeah, nobody yet knows everything that happened inside. That's true. I could be totally confused on what I could be seeing. I could. Sometimes you see things and you don't believe it. Your brain will shut it out. You're able to do, literally. Or you can be so severely hurt that you're still able to do daily functions. And it's just insane what your body can do. To shut down. Okay, so for instance, this isn't anything compared to that, but I know for my case, when I was in a car accident, so on a scale from 0 to 15, being 0 is comatose, or dead pretty much, 15 being wide awake and able to be alert and walking around, I was a 15, but I could not tell you any single thing that happened that whole night. And my eye was removed from my head. So that's how severe the injuries were. And they said I was in the helicopter, trying to sit up, hang out and talk and chill. I guess I even asked for the phone number of I can't think of it. The squad guy, the guy that drives the squad. I asked for his phone number and I knew him. I was like, oh my gosh, it was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, but I don't remember any of it. I said, well, I probably thought I was going to die and I wanted to hang out. Why didn't the perp burn the house down? I don't know. He should have. He probably could have burned the house down fast. It looks like that thing could have light up. It just doesn't look very good. No, it is what it actually looked like inside. I think that I think that yeah, exactly. It could have been a pool, not a bloodbath. It could have been a pool of blood behind even the bed, and that's why it's coming out the backside of the wall right there. That's why we see it, because you don't see any blood on the walls. If you think about it, we've seen not a lot of the walls, but we've seen the walls a little bit. We've seen the doors. We've seen inside of the home. I haven't seen any blood other than coming out of the back. I'm not right, I know. They are very bad at articulating things. Yeah, they are. I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I think that I could be I think that some people can be calm in that kind of a situation and be okay and shut down, and some people would be hysterical. Me, I don't think I would be hysterical. In that situation, I think I would shut down. I would shut down from shock. I think that my body would be able to do that. It's sad, but I think that I've seen so much crazy weirdness in my life that like I think it would be so horrific that I would just shut it out. It would be like, nope, not seeing that today. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't track blood out of the doors. There wasn't a whole lot of snow, but there was snow. So there wasn't on the doors. It wasn't on the door handles. It wasn't on the windows. Let me see if she's like, if I have her up so we can watch her. Yeah, she's just hanging out. I love Ashleigh Banfield. She's my favorite. I have a girl crush on her. Yeah, you probably throw up a little bit and then I call the cops instantly. Yeah. I don't even know if I would call the cops, but I don't know if I would know what to say. I don't even know if I would be able to get the words out. Like, I think I would just be like standing there literally in literal shock. But I think that there was a lot of blood. When the first person went outside to call 911, supposedly she fainted and neighbors finished the call and went into the house. Yeah, that's what I heard too, that she had like, yeah. And I mean, that makes sense if she did. She was in shock and then it literally came down on her what she had just seen. But I don't know for sure. I wish I did. I wish I knew so much about this case. It's really making me upset that they're not these cases are not getting solved very fast. But I guess you have to be patient. They did. If you guys are just now joining us, we are talking about the Idaho 4 case. I did have a live earlier. I did a pre-recorded because the taxi driver did finally come forward, the private driver. It'll be out for everybody to watch tomorrow. It's for members only this evening. So if you're a member, you can watch it tonight. But tomorrow I'll have it out early in the morning for everybody to watch. And then, so that was some good news. Like, I mean, some good news, I guess. I don't know. He came forward. It's someone, I guess, that the internet's probably going to pick apart by tomorrow morning. So probably by tomorrow afternoon, we'll know everything about his life and his family, and his name will be out there because he's supposed to be anonymous. So we'll see. You know how that goes on the internet. Sad but true, People want to say anonymous, but they can't. I've heard so many stories of kids like 5 years old finding their murdered mother and running outside to get help from neighbors and calling 911. Yeah. Or young adults that weak these days. Yeah, kind of. I would agree on that. I would agree. I think they are a little weak. I think the kids are a lot different than they were whenever I was younger, and I'm just going to say that. I don't think she's on yet. Oh, that's 10:01. She should be. Okay, what's going on, Banfield? Maybe I just got to go back. Heck. You freaking kidding me? There we go. Just gotta. Here we go.
Immediately with me.
Well, understandably, he has said.
Let's see if I can turn this up anymore.
Concerned small community. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he was very revealing in what he told you about that ride home. Start there.
Oh, I guess they'll talk about it here. So they're going to talk about the ride. And there she is in her cream-colored shirts again. Love her.
He said that it was actually a rather innocent conversation from the beginning. You might remember that he picked up these two girls from that grub truck. It's the food truck that's located right in downtown Moscow. And really, he said that was the center of their conversation. The entire 5-minute ride home was about their mac and cheese carbonara that they were planning on splitting when they got back to the house. He said that he's picked them up in the past, not only these two girls, but Xana as well. And he said that in the past, they've talked about boys and drama and college life, but not this time around. It was just a very normal, innocent conversation about their food and how they were going to share it when they got home.
So that's also revealing that he knew them. He had them in the car multiple times before. This is a small town. So if they've taken an Uber a couple of times, it would be likely that he'd be the driver. And he said, indeed, he knew them. He knew all three of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He said that obviously as one of only about 4 rideshare drivers in this area, he picks up these girls a lot. And not to mention, we already know that this is so close to Frat Row. And of course, we've reported that this is a party house. So a lot of times students would come here. And so he said that Xana, that Kaylee and Maddie were no strangers to them. He's given them rides home from the bars, home from work, home from school. So he knows them. He has driven them before. But back again to this, he said that there was nothing out of the ordinary that night, that right now or in that moment that it was just an innocent conversation. Of course, the frats were bumping on a Saturday night, but here at the house, it was quiet and he saw nothing out of the usual.
So as you reported earlier this week, Alex, the last thing that we heard on tape was the surveillance camera showing Maddie and Kaylee walking from the Corner Club bar to the grub truck. And the only thing we could hear was, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And then Maddie responds, I told Adam everything. Was there any conversation in the back of the Uber car about Adam or the bartender? Because Adam turned out to be the bartender. Did he mention anything like that?
Yeah, actually, the rideshare driver said that he knows Adam. He knows he's a bartender, but Adam was not brought up once at all during that conversation. Again, no conversations about boys, drama, or any trouble as far as what the girls were feeling. He said they were not fearful. They weren't skittish in any way. But back to the food truck, also, I asked him about that. Hey, you were right there. Did you see anything out of the ordinary there? And he said, no, it was a Saturday night at the food truck. A bunch of college kids hanging out, ordering their food before heading home. You know, I brought up another person a lot of people have speculated about, the hoodie guy he's been referenced as. He said he didn't see that guy. He has no indication that anything was wrong there at the food truck, and certainly during that entire rideshare home, no indication that anything was wrong there, rather.
Okay, then what about the police? Because clearly I would have imagined the police have a lot more, machinery and technological ability than sometimes we do to track people down. I assume that the police would have found him and that they would have talked. What did he say about being able to tell everything he told you to the police?
Right. Yeah, this was super interesting to me because he said that he didn't hear about the murders until the next day, and he realized, oh my gosh, these are the 2 girls that I had driven home, and I've driven home in the past. And so he was stewing on that for a little bit, but he was the one who eventually turned himself over to the police by calling the tip line, saying, hey, I was the one who drove these girls home. The police tells the rideshare driver that they already knew he was the driver, but even still, he was the one who called in himself and said, hey, I was that guy. That being said, when he did that, called the tip line, he turned over all of his GPS coordinates from that night, sharing that he went to Taco Bell after dropping the girls off and then went home. And so that's the reason why he was cleared almost immediately, never been named as a suspect or persons of interest, because all the data that he provided to the police proves that he was not there at this house at the time that these murders allegedly happened.
So the other question is, as you are standing almost, I imagine, in the same spot where they were dropped off, did he mention anything about the drop-off that was unusual? Anybody in the parking lot? Did he drive into the parking lot? Did he hear something, see something, pass anybody?
Ashleigh, the only thing he said was that he heard the frats doing their normal partying, but everything else seemed quiet, seemed normal. There were no headlights. There was no one following him. He says he's got a great memory, and he would know whether or not anyone was trailing him or if there was anything suspicious at all. As far as the drop-off, he said that he brought them right up the street here on King Road and dropped them off here at the foot of the driveway. He never pulls actually into the driveway because he says, based on his training, he always wants to be able to have a quick getaway in the event that something bad happens to him, like he gets robbed on the side of the road. But he dropped them off here on King Road. He watched them get out of the car. He did not watch them physically go into the home, but he said that he trusted that they were going to be safe because he's driven them so many other times, and he knew that these 2 girls were together.
He could not have imagined what was about to happen to them in the next hour or 2. It's just appalling. All right, speaking of that scene behind you, a couple weeks ago, all the kids' cars were still parked there, and one of those cars was the silver Range Rover that Kaylee had just purchased.
Right.
all those cars were towed away to a tow lot. We saw one with the Arizona plates that was picked up and driven off the lot, likely Xana's, because we only imagine she's got the connection to Arizona. And then news that came as well about the Range Rover. What'd you find out?
Yeah, we just found out that the Goncalves family has picked up that Range Rover. Specifically, it was picked up by their lawyer, Shannon Gray, and also being supervised by Moscow PD Captain Tyson Barrett. They were both on hand to pick up that car. These are photos that we got from Fox News. They were the ones who captured that moment on camera. But basically, this car is no longer in the impound lot. It's back with the Goncalves family, picked up just yesterday.
Yeah, important to note there that those are members of the Moscow Police Department. We were wondering who some of the guys were who were helping to move the snow off of the other vehicle. One of them had a gun on his belt and a big radio. It looked like it was police. Now there's confirmation that, at least in this instance, it was the Moscow Police Department helping the Goncalves attorney, Shannon Gray, to get that car back to the family. So another story today that was just so distressing. Finally, we knew it was coming. We imagined it would happen shortly, if not, already, and it did. Someone is being sued over what's being said on the internet. So tell me the story. What's happened?
Yeah, this is a really interesting case that's happening. It's the very first one that we've seen. We've seen Moscow PD draw a hard line saying we're not going to stand for internet sleuthing in which innocent people are thrown under the bus here. And that's exactly what we're seeing. In this case, it's an University of Idaho professor by the name of Rebecca Schofield. She is suing a TikToker, Ashleigh, who has posted more than a dozen videos on TikTok alleging that this University of Idaho professor had a role in these murders. Specifically, the allegations are that the professor hired someone because she had an intimate relationship with one of the victims. The professor, of course, says that this is completely false. She sent a cease and desist letter to the TikToker. That was at the very end of November, but still throughout the month of December, these TikTok videos just keep coming up, pointing to her specifically and saying that she is the one responsible for these murders. So this is the very first case, Ashleigh, where we're seeing a civil lawsuit being filed right now that's saying someone is defaming my character, and this is just simply untrue.
I just got a copy of the lawsuit here as well. I'm just looking at it. She says that this TikToker posted more than 40 times calling her a murderer, just flat out calling her a murderer, just saying awful things and basing a lot of this, I think, on tarot cards, on reading tarot cards. So I don't hold out a lot of hope for the TikToker on this case. And by the way, I'd also saw here there's two cease and desist letters.
I like her.
I'll be curious to see if the police follow through, because they have been threatening. If you do this, if you harass people, if you defame them and call them murderers online, unfoundedly so, you're going to face potential criminal action. So, I mean, have they said anything? Or, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's only just happened with the civil case, but have they said anything about the criminal yet?
Well, I certainly wanted to know the answer to that because we did see them draw such a hard line. I reached out to the Idaho State Police about that, seeing if we're going to see criminal charges being filed against this TikToker because it was such a big deal. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation that have been occurring all about this case. A lot of people that are into true crime that are trying to piece it together themselves, and inevitably that leads to false accusations. And so I asked the Idaho State Police about that. Are we going to expect criminal charges to be filed against this TikToker? I'm still waiting to hear back, so we're going to keep an eye on that one, Ashleigh.
Yeah, do indeed, because that's just appalling. I mean, honestly, tarot cards leads you to 40 different TikToks calling a professor a murderer. I think she's also said in her lawsuit, Alex, I've never met any of the students, and I've never met this YouTuber or this TikToker, and I think she was out of town. She wasn't even back in town till the day after the murders had happened. So, wow. Okay, one last question, and this is another piece of news that's fascinating. We had heard from a former tenant who lived in the room behind you to the right of the front door, He had said that it was silent, that every room in the house had an individual coded lock. It was rented separately to separate rooms and separate people. They weren't a group together. And that when he was in his room, he could barely hear the television on the second floor. He could certainly never hear or yell to the people on the third floor. But now we're hearing from another tenant at a different time. And he's got a bit of a different story to tell. What is it?
Yeah, this is a young man by the name of Cole Alternator. He said he lived in this house during his junior year at the University of Idaho. He graduated just this last June, but he still spoke about what it was like living in that home. And he said that you could hear everything. You can hear footsteps on the staircase, and that it's an old, creaky house, and that really there's no surprises there, that it's just an old house where you can hear most things. But of course, that contradicts previous reports where, you know, once you're on the lowest level, you can't hear anything. But I mean, what we got to think about when we're building additional context about this house is just because you can hear footsteps, say, on the night of the murder, that may not have triggered any alarms from the young women that were downstairs, right? This is a party house, as we've reported. And so, you know, if someone is sleeping and they hear footsteps, say, of someone who slipped in and committed these atrocious crimes, that may not raise any red flags or alarms for the young women inside, because this is just what this house was, a place where people socialized and hung out and certainly used the stairs.
Alex, I'll go one step further. If they were partying, yelling, screaming, thumping on the ceiling, it would just sound like any other Saturday night, a whole bunch of fun, and nobody would think for a minute that there was a slaughter going on the floors above them. Just fantastic work out there, Alex. Just such great reporting. Thank you for all that. And I know it's been uncomfortably cold, so we really do appreciate it.
You got it, Ashleigh.
Alex Capriello doing just terrific reporting out there. I don't think I have to remind you, it has been 40 days since those kids were killed at that home on King Road. And tonight we're dissecting this case, what we know and how police may actually be moving forward. Just ahead, some of the top homicide detectives in the business of solving murders are going to join us. Plus, with just one full day left until Christmas, we are going to be honoring those lives lost on King Road. But first, one method that detectives use to solve a crime is to look back over all of their notes for something that may see differently now. They might just notice it a little differently now with the passage of time. And so we have done the same thing, and we've compiled this case for you from start to finish.
The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road.
Just weeks ago, the 5 roommates were getting into the festive spirit, impersonating one another and posting the videos to TikTok.
Oh, Murphy, you look so cute. Get out of here. You seriously gotta get out.
But 3 of the 5 were killed. Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, and Xana Kernodle. Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, spent the night and was also murdered. Investigators say they were all likely stabbed in their sleep. 2 roommates apparently slept through the whole ordeal, according to officials. Upon waking up the next morning, they first called their friends over to the house for help, believing one of the victims had just passed out. Then they called 911.
At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies.
Police saying today that the investigation into the murders of 4 University of Idaho students is progressing. Law enforcement conducting 150 interviews and processing more than 1,000 tips. Among them, that 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves had a stalker.
When I spoke to the prosecutor, he was very clear with me that they still have no suspects in this case. Are there persons of interest and people that the investigators are looking at?
I think it's fair to say that there have been people of interest to the investigators, and everyone that they've identified so far, they've been able to exonerate. Perhaps exonerate isn't the best word, but they've been able to eliminate them as being an actual suspect.
An emotional vigil remembering the University of Idaho murder victims. With the killer still on the loose, security was tight with metal detectors and police closely watching from the ground and from balconies inside the arena. The parents of the victims are distraught.
I would like to start by saying my name is Stacy Chapin. I'm Ethan's mom. The circumstances that bring us here tonight, they're terrible. The hardest part, we cannot change the outcome.
This morning, there's new information that could help solve the murders of 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho. Police are looking for a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra just like this, but we don't know the license plate number. Investigators believe the driver was near the crime scene on November 13th, and they think the driver could have critical information about the case.
The tips and leads have just shown us that that car was there in that immediate area. So whoever was in that car may know who might have owned that car. Any of that information is extremely valuable to us right now because it could be really significant in solving this case.
Kaylee Goncalves was supposed to be among those in caps and gowns today, including many fellow members of the Greek system.
I'm really glad that the president brought them up, especially Kaylee. She was supposed to be here, so just thinking about her.
It is eerily quiet at the University of Idaho. With graduation over and most finals moved online, there are almost no students on campus. 1 month after the brutal murder of 4 students, and their families are anxious for any information. Victim Kaylee Goncalves' parents met with the investigators just yesterday, according to their attorney. Have you or the family received any new updates on the investigation?
Well, part of our delay was we met with the investigators yesterday. The theme of the meeting was 2 things, was accountability and communication.
Attorney Shannon Gray says the family wants a more consistent stream of information from police. He says most of their questions about the investigation have still gone unanswered, but they are hopeful police are doing the right things. Hard to imagine what those families are going through, not only losing loved ones, but also just the frustration and anger that a suspect has still not been caught more than 1 month after the murders. As for that white car seen on video, it's grainy video. It's hard to tell whether that is actually even the model of the car that police are looking for.
We've said all along that we need people to be vigilant. We need people to pay attention because we're not sure exactly where the individual is.
And still to come, they may not have the killer, but after 40 days of investigating, there is a very good chance that Moscow police and the state police and the FBI have what they need, not just to find the killer, but to prosecute him, convict him, and put him behind bars. It's called evidence. And to date, they say they've got up to 113 solid pieces of it. When we come back, some of the best minds in the business join me to sort through everything from loose hairs to ring cams and how all those pieces of the puzzle just might fit together.
All right, now let's bring in Bill Cunningham. Amazing.
I'll just mute that while we're on commercial break and see. Okay, that way I can make sure you guys can hear me. If you guys are just coming into the onto the live and into the chat, we would love to have you in the chat if you would love to come in. I do have it on subscriber only mode, but it's just for you just have to subscribe for a minute in order to chat. That way bots don't come in and mess up the chat while we're chatting it up. Because I don't have mods, it's just me, and I like it that way for now, so, you know, bear with me. I'm a newbie. Also, we're watching Banfield Live, which is Ashleigh Banfield with News Nation, and they are going over the Idaho 4 murders. If you missed the beginning of the live, the new body cam was released of the house, and it was on Truth and Transparency's page today also, so it's only been on 2 creators' pages that I know of so far. So if you haven't checked it out on mine, check it out on hers. It's linked in the description, and also it was in the chat, so it's in the live replay if you do decide to watch it on a replay. Yeah, I don't know why they only have 104 pieces of evidence. That doesn't really make much sense to me. I feel like there should even be more pictures. But that's just me. I feel like I take a lot of pictures. Maybe that's why I feel like 4,000 isn't a lot.
Clients' portfolios to their long-term goals.
If they botched the outside, they definitely botched the inside. Emptying the house of belongings mistake. Yeah, you're exactly right.
In our client's best interest.
You're exactly right. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that.
Yep, we do better when our
I'm starting to think a lot of people are beginning to feel this way. Yeah.
Different.
If you still have
Yeah, I agree with that too. SRB. I didn't think that it was going to be like overnight, but you know, it would have been nice.
Rinvoq is different and may help.
Stand up to your symptoms.
It would have been really nice if they could have solved it at least by like maybe Christmas. Like tomorrow, can we do this? Can we wrap this up tonight, guys? Can someone just like walk in and say that they did this? That'd be nice. Oh, and then I was going to go ahead and close the poll too really quick. So let me see. It was 79. So the poll was, do you think the Idaho 4 knew who their killer was? And 79% of you guys think that yeah. So I'm going to end that poll and then I'm going to start another one soon. But I wonder when the next time is that, I wonder when Ashleigh Banfield's going to go out and stand in front of the house. My girl ain't going out there. She's like, I don't do the cold.
Rinvoq. Make it your mission. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Heather said I don't.
Trust Safelight.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Me and allegedly, actually, we were talking about that on we did a panel on my show or on my channel the other night. We were just talking about it, about how they just kind of emptied everything out of there.
Repaired the chip right away, and with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Yeah, I think actually you were in this one. I think that she was in our chat, like in this chat.
That service the way you need it.
Yeah, you think you're the only one that said no? I should have checked and seen the other statistic ones or the numbers. I was going to do another one, but I forget what it was going to be.
Whoa, what's next? You tell me.
I don't remember. I'll think of it here in a minute and then I'll do it.
Every year.
These commercials are pretty long, so that's good. I couldn't remember how long they were, so I didn't want to like start anything new and, you know, that happened. Paul, how do you know it's a guy? We don't. I just, I don't think it was a girl. That's my personal opinion on that. But I would probably just refer to them as a him in the context anyway, you know?
Healthcare.gov is here for millions like you.
Okay, oh, here she is.
Welcome back.
It can be as small as a molecule or as big as a Range Rover, as lasting as a photograph or as fleeting as a memory. It's the stuff that sends guilty people to prison every day all around the world. So, of course, investigators want to get as much of it as they can, as soon as they can, and then safeguard it as best they can. In the case of the Idaho massacre, police say they've collected 113 pieces of physical evidence from that crime scene. But if you think that sounds remarkably low, as I do, there is also the digital evidence. Everything from emails to GPS to surveillance video and those statements given to the police by witnesses, victims' acquaintances, their relatives, you name it. One critical piece of hard evidence that we know the Moscow police do not have is the murder weapon. Can they track down the killer without it? We also know that a glove sat ignored for days, potentially, in the snow outside of the victim's house until a bystander, who happened to be a homicide detective visiting the scene, pointed it out to a patrol officer.
I wonder if she's going to pull it out again, Ashleigh Banfield.
In any murder trial.
Joining me now with their insights on all of this are retired Houston homicide detective Phil Waters, FBI veteran and former head of the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, Mike Harrigan, and Caitlin Becker. She's the senior reporter at thedailymail.com. Welcome to all three of you, and thank you for being here on this Friday night. Phil, I'm going to begin with you and the digital evidence, because you can break that down into a whole lot of categories like body cam, ring doorbell, security cam. But the big question is, do we really think that surveillance video is going to be the break in this case, as it has been in so many others?
I don't think there's any telling at this point what is going to be the break in the case, because you have such a massive scene. You've got so many pieces of evidence that I don't think one in distinction is going to be the one that breaks it. It may come down to breaking the case. It just comes about with a simple phone call.
Yeah, and a tip, because that's coming in to the tune of over 10,000. Mike, let's talk about the other aspect of digital, the text messages, the emails, the social media, which is, you know, really kind of new in the last decade for crime fighting, the Wi-Fi routers, and of course, GPS that might be on those cars. How much faith and stock do we put in those parts of digital media in helping to solve this case?
Well, they can be part of the case. I mean, they can be a critical part, maybe. You think of the volume of that information. When you're talking digital, you could have terabytes of information that has to be gone through by analysts in support of the investigation, trying to identify what might be relevant so the investigators can look at it. I mean, that's a very time-consuming and exhaustive process that can take quite a bit of time.
Caitlin, the Daily Mail has been way out front on this story, just really breaking incredible scoops. And one of the things you were able to see, very legally, I may add, in case anybody's concerned, from behind the crime scene tape, your photographer was able to see inside the windows of some critical parts of the house. And I think what was most telling about the pictures was what it was not in the pictures. So walk me through how surprising it was to see the house in the condition that it was in.
I was shocked when I saw this. What you're seeing are images taken from outside of the house of that second floor, which would technically be the ground floor if you're looking from the back side of the house. This was the floor where Xana and Ethan were sleeping and were ultimately murdered. What you see is a messy college house. You see cups and junk and dirty dishes. What you don't see is blood. You don't see the house torn up. You don't see tables flipped over. Not seeing blood so close to where we know two of those people were murdered was really, really shocking to me. And I think it's really important, as you noted, that these were legally taken. And of course, we were standing outside of the house when we took them. But it's so important to us to put them out there because maybe you or I don't see something that looks amiss, but maybe someone who's been to the house will see something that looks amiss, and that could lead investigators to some of that relevant evidence that one of your other guests was just referring to.
That's critical. And also dispel some of the internet criticism that's been, how on earth could they not have seen a bloodbath when those roommates came upstairs? Maybe the bloodbath did not exist in some of those common spaces, but did exist behind the locked, closed doors where presumably those bodies were found. So Phil, about the forensics, I cannot even imagine the process that is ongoing right now to separate and exclude all the different sources of DNA, all the different fibers, all the different hairs, all the different fingerprints of people who have legally been in that house, not just this school season, but all the past school seasons and all the parties and fun, the guests, the friends, the family members, the former tenants. How do the police separate all those people and exclude them to try to find that one foreign source of DNA or fiber or hair that might be the killers?
Well, actually, that is a great question. And I would explain it this way. It is not like, excuse me, it is not like on television. They don't have a whole bunch of evidence and they plug it into a magic computer somewhere and all of a sudden they're spitting out pictures and identifications and addresses and so forth. What happens in this, especially in this type of a scene where you have two homicide scenes contained in one structure, and then you have a third portion of those scenes, which is going to be the path that was taken from the second floor to the third floor and back out of the structure. So it's a very complicated scene. There's a lot of moving parts in this thing. And when they gather all of the evidence they can, the physical evidence, the trace evidence, the DNA evidence, fingerprint evidence, they're going to have to process each one of those things in the context in which they were taken. Now, the DNA stuff is going to be, this is the way I have done it, and Mike's probably familiar with this, is that you're going to take your DNA evidence and you're going to meet the detective, or the detectives are going to meet with the technician that is going to process that piece of evidence. And there's going to be a discussion about what part of this evidence that we're looking at is the most probative part. and that's what they're going to target. They don't just walk in and they have a piece of evidence sitting in front of them and just start swabbing DNA stuff all over the place. So it's a very focused area that you're going to be looking at that's going to get the most return for that DNA evidence. And then it's going to be processed, and that takes time. I have seen in my own career as much as 6 months to a year to determine DNA processing to an identifiable profile. Now,
and that might be from a house that doesn't have this many, foreign sources coming in and coming out. And yeah,
exactly. That's from one scene with one body, and it's taken that long to get it. Now, I would imagine, I've also seen it where that has been ratcheted up because of the circumstances. And I believe in this case, what I'm hoping for is that when they got the FBI involved so quickly, got the state so quickly involved, the FBI
that they ratcheted it up.
They have an evidence response team. I've used them. They're great. They process those scenes. And then I would think that the processing is being farmed out to the state level and to the FBI, and it's a collaborative effort to get that stuff done.
And with so many nervous people, they're hoping to get those answers quickly. I have to leave it there. Phil Waters, Mike Harrigan, Caitlin Becker, thank you all. And my best of the holidays to you as well. Thank you for being with us on this story.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Everything that we've just been talking about, collecting the evidence, testing the evidence, matching up the evidence with the suspects, that is hard work. When we come back, what might prove to be even more complicated, the theories. Everybody has one or several, and anybody can join in. Somebody is going to turn out to be right. We're going to break down some of those theories, brainstorms that you might have had yourself, and some you may never have thought of after the break.
Okay.
It's so boring to drive.
So,
the rent-a-car industry is the definition.
Many serial killers use knives, and yeah, I guess. Well, I think that they do. I mean, they do personal crimes. I feel like they have strangulations a lot of the time. I feel like, or suffocation. I don't know about stabbing as much. Heather, oh yeah, Heather, I like Phil too. That's what I meant to tell you guys. I love Phil Waters. I've watched him on a few different shows. He does interrogations and stuff like that. I think he's from Texas. He's a Texas man. I love the great state of Texas.
Stay tuned to get this.
I'm not even from Texas, never been to Texas, but I love their laws.
Are you tired of
if you know, you know. Along with Florida being second best on how they. Sometimes you just gotta, convict people when they do stuff that's wrong. And they're a state that's not afraid. I disagree. I read that, sorry. Think of Manson, those deaths were not by knives. Yeah, they were. I was trying to think of one by knives. That is one by knives. I was trying to think of a super popular one by knives, like kniving. You are absolutely right, Manson. Yeah.
500 degrees for outstanding roasting. And come with
well, he didn't, but his followers did. Manson really didn't do a whole lot of anything, I feel like.
Pay up to $500 for a professional quality cookware set. But during this special TV introduction,
Admit for
Granite Stone Blue 12-piece set. Not for
I wonder why, maybe serial killers use them because it is more personal and they want that personal part of it, because maybe it's not it's not sexually gratifying. It's more of the sexual gratification is the knife, using the knife.
So durable, it comes with a 10-year warranty. As a bonus, we'll include our self-draining fry basket, stainless steel steamer insert.
Sorry guys, my eyes must be a little tired because I looked at that. I was just looking at that air frying food. I was just like, look at that, and I don't even like air fryers.
You'll get our 5-piece Granite Stone Blue bakeware set, the fast, easy, ultra non-stick way to bake up your favorite desserts. No grease or oil needed. Together, they're a $110 value.
Oh yeah, the girls that said on 3, those girls were crazy. I can't even remember their names now off the top of my head. I've been on lives for a long time today, it feels like.
1-800-715-1778 or go online to granitestoneblue.com.
But there's also, a lot of people are murdered each day, and there's a lot of serial killers out there.
Moves fast. Get Decision Tech from Fidelity.
You'll get
So let's see here. And you know what? Maybe people like serial killers use knives so that they don't have to register a gun. I mean, I know you can get a gun that's not registered, but still, like if you buy a gun off the street, it's easier to trace back than going into a store and buying a knife.
Get Decision Tech.
Yeah, SRB, I think you're right. They need to feel the emotions behind the crime. Such a crap thing to say, but it's true. Yeah, no, they need the gratification. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Whoa, what's next? You tell me, man.
Oh my lord, I feel like I need an energy drink. I don't even drink energy drinks.
It's a ticking clock.
Seems like a subconscious thing to do, and totally possible. I could, yeah.
Has begun. So chase the sun and seize the season, because when the day
they were friends with the mother to begin with, and then they went back to her house, wolf pack. They went back to the house and was like, I just had the girl's name right. It starts with an S or something.
Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
The girl that was murdered, but her mom and dad, the girls would come back over. Rachel was one of the killers. She was the redheaded one, and I can't remember the other girl's name. Skylar. That's the girl that
brain development through their mid-20s.
They killed.
Appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social
I just had to think of it for a minute, but Skylar was her name.
It's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Can't remember her last name, but oh, she's back on.
Police already know who the killer is. Are they watching and waiting and building an airtight case before they move in, or are they still throwing darts at the dartboard? Last night on News Nation, Chief James Fry suggested the truth may lie somewhere in between. Take a listen.
Is there any way of knowing right now, and again, I know there's things you can't say, but of whether this murderer is still in the area or maybe far away by now?
Like I said, we're not disclosing any of that, but there's some of that we just don't know at this point. We're still trying to put everything together. We've said all along that we need people to be vigilant. We need people to pay attention because we're not sure exactly where the individual is.
We're not sure exactly where the individual is, which could mean that police have a suspect and have lost track of him, or they still have no idea, but it sure does sound like it's one person that they're tracking, not more, the individual, he said. So that leaves plenty of room for guesswork on the part of just about anybody. And face it, you've had your theories too. Was this the work of a serial killer, a jilted lover, a random home invader? There are people whose profession it is to sort between those very possibilities. Robin Dreeke is a retired FBI special agent and head of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. You know his work from the hit TV show Criminal Minds. Also, Chris Mahandi is a forensic psychologist with more than 25 years of experience
assessing and managing violent behavior. And you may know him from his popular investigation discovery show, Most Evil. Let me start with you, if I can, Dr. Mahandi. You've come face to face. Oh, we have Casey Jordan, too. I'm so sorry, Casey. All of a sudden, I just noticed you were missing from my list. Casey Jordan is well known on this program and many others for her. She's a criminologist, investigative profiler, behavioral analyst as well. Okay, so Dr. Mahandi, you've come face to face with a lot of serial killers. How much weight do you actually put in that theory that this was the work of a serial killer?
Well, first, I wanted to say this is a bit of a reunion between Robin Dreeke and myself. We used to work together back in the day, and I'm glad he's here, and thank you for having me. I think it's a viable theory. There are a couple different categories of serial killers, the Ted Bundy types who, target people because they enjoy killing. And then there are the more mentally disturbed types that are operating on an agenda that might be psychosis driven. Somebody like Herb Mullen, who in the 70s killed 13 people because he thought by sacrificing people, he would avoid a catastrophic earthquake in Northern California. So I do think this is a viable theory. I'm sure the police and FBI are looking into it and comparing across county and state lines, because if it is this kind of person, there probably would be other events that may have similarities that they would be looking for, not just DNA, but maybe behavioral patterns.
So, Robin, if it is true, if it is a serial killer, what sort of methodical and predatory behavior that you're seeing, at least in what we know about this crime scene, what does that tell us about this particular killer?
Yeah, thanks, Ashleigh, and hi, Dr. Mahandi.
one thing that all predators are doing and will always do, and that is they're going to do all they can to stay safe and accomplish their mission. And so this predator was very contemplative in the venue, the time of day, and the location and what was going on in that environment. And so they had a lot of control. Now, what they didn't have control on is what the victims would react like once being attacked. And so they're going to maximize their success with the least amount of threat to their own personal safety. So I think they really knew what they were doing when they chose this venue.
So Casey, weigh in on the possibility that this might have been, I don't know, maybe a former lover or a love triangle. What's the possibility in your mind that this actually could be a killer from within the inner circle and maybe romantically involved in some way?
I think all of us started out with that as a possible theory, but there are so many things about this which just don't really fit. Just keep in mind, 4 sleeping people with a knife and no sexual assault. Now, if just one of these young women were killed, we would automatically go look at the ex-boyfriends. And so we have to start with that. But I was catering to that for the first week. Now that we are past week 6, we really do have to step back and say, even though technically it's a mass murder, the psychology is really that of a serial killer. And it's going to be most likely what I would call the advent. I don't know that this person has done it before, but there is so much fantasy that seems to be wrapped up in it. It's a process-focused thing, not an act-focused. Death wasn't the point. It wasn't a vendetta. It was the stabbing motion. Very likely it was piquerism. There was a sexual undertone to it. And you look at these young women and they're sexually attractive. So you think about this, and I agree with my colleagues here. The psychology really does match that of a serial killer. Again, if he hasn't done it before, and this is the advent, we've seen it with Danny Rawling. We have seen it with BTK, Dennis Rader. We talked about Ted Bundy. He did it in, the middle of his serial killer spree. It is entirely possible. It's an outlier. It's very rare, but it's very possible.
So, Dr. Mohanty, the third theory here, the stalker theory, there's been talk about the stalker. The police said they couldn't nail it down, but we met a manager at a vape store who said that the girls were in all the time and they'd mentioned the stalker. What are the chances that this might be a stalker who turned violent?
Well, I think that's another very viable theory, particularly given the victimology. You've got, three females and a male, attractive, socially visible. And you've got several different types of stalkers that are potential culprits. You've got, an intimate stalker, somebody has had a former intimate relationship with, embittered, striking back. You have an acquaintance, somebody that might be, part of the entourage or at the edge of it and knows some of the people, but is harboring deep-seated animosity, feels aggrieved somehow. And then there's the private stranger stalker, somebody that's in the environment of the school, maybe watching from a short distance away, not really known to them per se, but tracking, comfortable in the environment. And any one of those 3 types of stalking patterns could evolve into something like this based on the degree of aggrievedness the person feels.
Okay, Robin, I've only got 20 seconds, but I want to get your thoughts on whether you think this could be an incel.
Possibly, it's kind of collaborating what everyone's been saying so far. What's really striking to this, and going to what Casey's saying, and also Dr. Mohanty, the violence of action that this took and the personalization of using a fixed blade knife on not just one person, but 4, shows a deep intent for what they were doing. And as I said already, the deep personalization.
Well, I can't thank all 3 of you enough. Casey Jordan, Robin Dreeke, and Chris Mohanty. Just excellent analysis, and I'm looking forward to having you back on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
Still to come this hour, the people whose names and lives we should not even know. People who should be home with their families this weekend and should be counting the minutes to getting back to their friends in Moscow. Xana and Ethan, Maddie and Kaylee, the way they
were in their happier lives when we come back.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna pause that so we can just kind of talk about it because it's almost over. I'm not gonna stay on too much longer after Banfield is over with because, it's already been like an hour and a half, but we were on for like 2 hours earlier. We covered a lot of stuff though today. A lot of new things came out. I did that pre-recorded, which will be out in the morning, but they went over it a little bit on Banfield in the beginning. And then earlier in the live, we saw the new body cam footage that was just released. It just came out today. And it's of them at Kylie's house. I'm sorry, not Kylie, Kaylee. Sometimes I have her, my little twang in her name.
Is full of joy.
Oh, good, allegedly. Found my TikTok. But Kaylee and Maddie's house and Xana's, the officers were at their home. They were actually at another guy's house, you know, busting up a party. Just kind of was like, hey, you guys are just being a little loud. Just, you know, turn the music down a little bit. Cops are really cool. But then they had to go up and tell, you know, the residents of the Moscow house too the same thing, because they were also having a party and being loud. So you got to see them on video. So you got to see the back of the house better. You got to see that there are no stairs coming from the second story to the first story from the back door, and the officer even makes a statement to that, saying that.
With what we've been going through, I don't know how we would have made
Who,
it
me?
without St. Jude.
You want me to make a Wednesday TikTok dance? I would.
Children's Research Hospital works day after
day. If I can get Vincent to do it with me, but he wouldn't do it. But I bet if I could get someone in my family to do it, I'll do it. Because it would be funny.
St. Jude, it seriously saved her life.
Good job.
And
I could do it in my boutique. That would be cute. Too bad I don't have darker. Well, I have like extensions, but they're not darker. Or I'd have my sister-in-law put them in my hair, and I would do the whole deal. I would dress up and everything for it. I do a little Wednesday Adams thing for you guys. I think the dance is cute. I don't watch TikTok that much. It's weird because everybody watches TikTok, but I don't watch it too much. But I'm trying to post more, and I have some more content I need to put out there. I have that little dog video that's really cute. I need to put that on there. I have it written down to put on there tomorrow. I set an alarm, so if I don't get it on there tonight, it'll be on there tomorrow. But it's of a golden doodle. And it's just a cute little video just to show you how they're just kind of so sweet. But it has music behind it, so I can't. I know. I need to do things for my... Well, I know. I need to do some cute stuff for my store. It's been a while. I need someone else to do the stuff. Like, I'll dress you. I'm a content creator, but I'd much rather talk on a YouTube channel than, like... you know, transition in a video, which I do have. So, okay, my boutique, I'm going to put it in the chat. That way, if you guys want to look me up on TikTok for my boutique, you can, and my Instagram and stuff, because then you'll see the type of clothes I sell. And I used to do transition TikTok. So I have some TikToks that are like transition-y ones over there, but I wish I don't know. I wish I did. But if you guys ever, I have the perfect outfit for anybody in my store right now for this weather. Like, if it's below 35 where you guys are, come to my store. It's this brown little outfit. It's a 2-piece set. It's a life changer. I wore it today. I only had to wear leggings underneath my jacket. I wore a tank top underneath of the shirt, and I wore my jacket and a scarf, and I literally was outside in negative 35 degrees. Could not believe it. Oh, there we go. Also, if you use all capitalized YouTube 20, you'll get 20% off.
Days after their brutal murders.
One day before a holiday that is all about hope and love and family, we want to take a moment to remember Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, the happy lives that they led and the memories that they leave behind.
Only when I'm at my home, and I wake up at night, see your name on the phone. It's the moments that I'm better alone.
Anyone who knew Kaylee would tell you the same thing. To know her was to love her. Her love for life and everyone in it was so inspiring. She made it a priority to make everyone feel so important and so loved.
There was never a day that she didn't want to race her brother because she was just determined that girls were faster than boys, or that she didn't want to go bug her little sisters.
Favorite memory for me was watching the game with her. And every time the Steelers scored, I'd pick her up and I told her to high in the air.
I didn't really realize that I was in love with Maddie until the summer of 2020.
People because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
Young lady who was mid-30s, a couple of kids, recently
went through a divorce. She had a lot of questions.
Okay, so
I watched my mother go through.
Way to make me cry. Like I wasn't trying to do that. That was so sad.
And so once the client,
like I don't watch sad stuff, guys, because that's why I don't watch sad stuff. I told you guys that before. I don't listen to sad music. I don't watch sad movies.
How much you care.
But that was really sad. That was so sweet. I thought they would do that like all the way at the end, but this is like towards the end, so. But that was a really nice little tribute.
She's enjoying yummy dark chocolate and
But man, they're like, that's just so sad, you know?
For a thin layer of
I know, I am too. I had to get up and get a tissue, and then it's a whole thing because I have a prosthetic eye, so when I blow my nose, like my eye waters, it's a whole process. So then I'm like trying to like get the water out of my off my eye.
Those pillars of our democracy are.
I know, we were like having such a good chat, but that was, and then it got so sad, but that was really sweet. You should have saw me though during the candlelight vigil. Oh, I was a mess. I was a mess. I cried the whole time.
These freedoms for us.
But no, that was very sweet. So I don't know if that's the end. I mean, it's probably the end of it, but there's still 5 minutes, so she'll probably come back on and say something.
You join us. Call or go on.
We'll see what she has to say. Oh, love you guys. Love you too, Janet. I know this is a good live tonight. That was a good. I'm glad that I came back on and we watched Ashleigh Banfield together.
Together, we can continue to fight for free speech.
Because I know a lot of people don't get it, like on their like I have it through my cable provider, but I know a lot of people don't have it through theirs.
Reproductive rights are on the line. And we are looking at.
You're right, Wolfpack. I'm not. That's what I do. I detach. Yeah.
Strong to protect those rights.
Yeah. That's how I am. So then, whenever it's like right in front of my face, it's hard to, you know. I get really sad. I've always been like that. I'm sensitive, but I'm sensitive, but I don't ever want to be. I'm like, I'm not sensitive. You're sensitive.
To show you're part of a movement.
Like for Christmas, I'm gonna get my brother. It's a little bit late, but I'm getting a VHS tape of Our Last Christmas with Our Parents, converted to a DVD for him, and he doesn't know. He has never seen it. It's just a way for him to be able to hear our parents' voices.
The people means all of us.
Because it's just something you can't buy. You can't buy that present. You know what I mean? You can't buy hearing someone's voice.
myaclu.org to become a guardian of liberty today.
Maybe that was all of it. I don't know.
With this balsam.
Oh, that's a pretty tree.
Create your own twinkly light.
I'm so ready for a new Christmas tree. My tree is so huge. I'm done with it.
Designed to make setups.
I want one like that. Look at that. Simple, easy, but that's too big too. I want something smaller than that even.
Chip in your windshield? Trust Safelight.
I want something like super small. Something small and skinny. Like, you know, like something maybe like taller but skinnier.
Chip in their windshield. They brought it to Safelight for a same day in-shop repair.
Maybe a real tree next year.
Right away. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Use pink tree, not too big. Oh, that'd probably be cute. I have a bunch of, I have a little tree over here. I have like we have 3 trees here in this apartment. It's bad. Actually, we have 5. If you count these real small ones I have. But they're smaller. They're in the boutique area.
Business Connect with Ring Central. Now you can get all of your business communications in one simple app. Good morning, small business owner.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Transfer.
Well, you're gonna have to catch up there, Janet.
Just because we can.
Just looking here now.
Look at me. I could transfer all day.
Yeah,
all night from anywhere.
This was a good live tonight.
Now is the time to upgrade your Spectrum internet.
That was that was a really good like ending to that too. And then, like I said in the beginning of the live, we watched the new body cam footage that was released of the Moscow house. It was released today. And then we did a live earlier today. We discussed a lot of really good things on that live as well. And then we just watched Ashleigh Banfield live, and they just did a tribute to the Idaho 4. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, here she is. Let's see what she says.
Welcome back.
She looks like she was crying.
And it is, it's one of those Friday nights where if you have kids, they're probably freaking out, right? Because you know what's coming, right? Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. So I get it. I know how everybody is across the nation right now. If you're trying to stay warm, if you're trying to fight the traffic, last minute shopping tomorrow, or if you're just trying to fight the cold and the ugliness on the streets, we're all with you. We at News Nation want to just tell you how much we appreciate the fact that you watch us. And I want to tell you something about that. Because with 2 sleeps left until Christmas morning, I don't know why I always get jazzed about it, but I do. But there was something I wanted to just bring to your attention. 2 years ago this week, I got a little Christmas present that turned out to be a very big Christmas present. The guy who started this network, News Nation, his name is Harry Sook. Really nice guy, and I'm not saying that to be a brown noser. He actually really is a super nice boss. He asked me personally if I wanted to come and be a part of his new venture, and he explained it to me as a cable news network that just tells the news without the agenda. Wow, sign me up, right? It's what I've been doing for the last 30 years. It's exactly what we need. I thought, how refreshing. Yes, I will do this because Fox and CNN and MSNBC have pretty much dug themselves in on political platforms. And what that means is that viewers like you and me, we got to switch back and forth to just try to get the full story. You know, the stuff that the biased guys just conveniently leave out of their script. So, yeah, what a project. And guess what? Turns out we are growing like gangbusters. So here's a gift that you can give your friends and your family around the Christmas table. Let them know that you're watching us on News Nation and that they might actually want to check us out as well. It is news that's good for you for a change. It's not going to make you angry at your sister or your uncle. It's news for all America. So we are so happy that you joined us. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you and your family and your friends. I'm going to take a week off and see my family and my friends. But I want you to have a wonderful season, and I'll see you in the new year.
What am I going to do without her for a week? Like, she can't take a vacation. What am I going to do without her for a week? I love her. She's like my favorite. And I do like News Nation. I know, a week, that's a long time. We have Brian Eaton, he's back. It's nice to see him and not freezing to death outside. I feel bad for him. They got someone else out there now. They're like, oh, new guy, you're going. Oh, your best friend must be so beautiful then. Because I think she's just naturally pretty. naturally just a beautiful woman. And I like her. And I'm a cream and browns kind of girl. I don't really wear a lot of black. She always has on a cream shirt, and I'm like, I'm digging your style. And I love her earrings. They're always super shiny. She's just something. She's nice to look at. She's pleasant. It's a pleasant experience every time I watch her channel. So, I mean, even Vincent's watching her channel now. I'm so surprised. Like, he doesn't ever watch stuff like that, and he is on it. He's on the true crime train with us now. So, okay, well, I am going to hop off here. I am going to come on tomorrow sometime to grace y'all with my presence, because it's going to be Christmas Eve. I got to at least pop in and say hi to you guys for Christmas Eve. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. We talk true crime. We talk a little bit about everything, though, in here. And also, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. If you would like to join our membership, we would love to have you. I do have the membership. It is available in the chat box, or you can go to the main page, and we have different tiers, and it's just a good time. And I did just post a video for members only over there about the taxi driver that came forward the night of the girls and Ethan's death. The guy that drove Kaylee and Maddie home, he came forward. So that was kind of, I don't know. We got some answers, I guess, there a little bit, sort of. And if not, we got someone that people are going to really sleuth out. So we'll hear something before too long. And then also the other, the tarot reader earlier, the psychic. If you haven't checked her out yet, she's something else. So check out our live from earlier. I know we had some new names in chat. I'm so glad that all of you guys were here tonight. Thank you for spending a little bit of your evening with me. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holiday, whatever you're doing or whoever you're spending it with. Make sure you're just hanging out, relaxing, just taking it easy. Try not to drive if you don't have to drive, especially if it's bad out. Like, these roads are bad where I'm at. So if it's not better, then I'm not traveling an hour and a half away. Like, a point blank period. I love my family, but we will do it the next day. You know what I mean? If we got more snow, that is, I would never risk it. So, but I love you guys. Yes, I do have I have a self-admitted crush for Ash. I love her. And I'm usually into, like, just personally, I'm more of a brunette kind of gal. I don't know why, even though it looks like you have blonde hair, no offense. I just am a brunette kind of gal. But she's got the blonde hair, but I'm loving her style. I'm always lurking around, but rarely check off Wolfpack. I'm always lurking around as well. So if you ever see me in the chat somewhere else, always say hi. But you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And if not, I will see you guys after Christmas. So have a Merry Christmas. And if I don't see you before the New Year, have a good New Year too. And let me know what your plans are going to be for the new year, and your New Year's resolutions are going to be. We'll have to talk about those next time on our live. You guys have a good night. Bye, guys.